You only know what you are wanting in any moment in time relative to what's really going on around you, usually. In other words, if there's too much traffic, you know what you want. Relief from it, yes. If you are sitting on the Katy freeway and your average miles per hour is 0, you know what you want, don't you? If you are not feeling well, you know what you want. If someone is irritating you, you know what you want. So when we say, are you knowing what you are wanting? There is no real accurate answer to that from our human friend perspective, because you only know this one little piece of it that's highlighted right now that you're focused upon. It's really a snapshot in time, isn't it? But in all of that living of your life out here on this leading edge, in your physical time-space reality, as you're living your life and exploring the variety, sifting through the contrast, really, of knowing what you don't want, which helps you to identify what you do want, there is an amassing of those preferences or requests that is being held in a vibrational reality. We've been calling it your vortex of creation, or a vortex of attraction. Is a vortex where the vibrational rocket of desire has been received by the larger non-physical part of you and is being held. Now, we want to just briefly, we know you've for the most part heard this so many times you could speak it as well as we do to you. But we want to remind you that before you came into these bodies, that you were non-physical energy, and many of you have been accepting that for a long time. But even as a part of that consciousness is flowing into this physical body, the larger part of you still remains non-physically focused. So as you stand here in this physical body, exploring contrast and knowing what you don't want, and therefore in this moment knowing what you do want, and in this moment knowing what you do want, and some moments being more poignant than others, but knowing, because you can't stop deciphering, and you cannot stop perceiving, and you cannot stop preferring. That's really what we want to say to you. You cannot in any moment in time stop preferring. When you're too hot, you prefer to be cooler. When you're too cold, you prefer to be warmer. When you're confused, you prefer to have clarity. When you don't have enough money, you prefer to have more money. You just cannot turn that preference button off. So all of this focused preferencing that you're doing is causing you to emanate vibrationally these rockets of desire. You don't have to speak it out loud to yourself or to anyone or to the unknown masses. You're just emanating it vibrationally, and the source within you receives the vibrational request and becomes it. A few years back, we wrote a book with the best title ever given to a book, Ask and It Is Given. And it was speaking about exactly that. Because when you ask, even with a soft preference, the vibrational part of you, the non-physical part of you, the source energy part of you, the God force part of you, doesn't just answer the request, it becomes the vibrational equivalent of the solution. So if you've got a problem, the solution is there immediately, because you can't have a problem without asking for the solution. You can't have a question without asking for the answer. And in this magnificent universe where you ask, source answers. Where you ask, it is given. That's what's happening. So when we say to you, do you know what you want? Do you know what you're wanting? And some of you say, well, I don't think I know it in the fullest. I just know that right now this chair is not as comfortable as I would like it to be. Or right now I know that I wish my kids were behaving better back home, where I locked them in a room and said, I'll be back. Be good. But we want you to know that there is this amassed vortex that not only knows what you want, but is what you want. It's the vibrational version of all that you have been requesting that has already been amassed, and all cooperative components have already been drawn to it. Do you know that for everything you want, cooperative components are immediately available? That's why there can and should be immediate manifestation of the things that you want, because when you ask, it is given vibrationally. But there is this lag that happens with so many of you. We've been giving the buffer of time the credit for it. In other words, we've been saying to you for a long time that when you want something, there is usually a buffer of time between your identification that you want it and the showing up of it, the manifesting of it, the actualization of it in your life experience. But we want you to know that the only reason that there is that lag is because when you launch your preference, when you amend your desire again and again and again, as you do all day, every day, you are usually not up to speed. You're not a cooperative component to what you're asking for. And the reason that you are not, sometimes, often, usually, a vibrational match to what you're asking for is because you are so what is oriented. You're so deciphering the present manifestation. So when your present reality shows you something that you want, most of you are still so actively involved in explaining what's wrong with the present reality that you prevent yourself from being a cooperative component to what you are looking for. You know, a question has a vibration, and an answer has a vibration. But the vibrational difference between the question and the answer is a big vibrational difference. A problem has a vibration. A solution has a vibration. But there's a vibrational variance between the problem and the solution that keeps you from being a cooperative component to the solution. So it's really interesting thing to see that when you ask for something, immediately the source within you, we call that your inner being, the whole of you, becomes an immediate vibrational match to what you're asking for, and law of attraction gathers the cooperative components to it, so there is an immediate attraction of everything that you are asking for. But if you're still beating the drum of what is, I don't have enough money, I don't know what I'm going to do, I've never had enough money, I don't know hardly anybody who has enough money. As you beat the drum of what is, you hold yourself vibrationally apart from what you are really wanting. Now, the best news in all of that is every time you do that, you can feel your vibrational discord. We enjoy knowing the physicalness of that which is you. You are so beautifully physical, which means you're really, 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 really good at interpreting a reality through your physical senses. What you see is just an interpretation of vibration. What you hear is an interpretation of vibration. What you smell and taste and touch, just vibrational interpretations. But you, bless you, you make that reality, because I can see it and hear it and smell it and taste it and touch it. So that's real. And what's in the vortex, Abraham, dear friend, that vortex that you keep pointing at and telling us we should get in it, I have to tell you, we hear you say, I can't actually see or hear or smell or taste or touch anything over there. So I'm not so sure that that's a reality worth giving my attention to. And we say, that's what trips you up. Your reality that is so, you just like it so much. It calls you because you can see it and hear it and smell it and taste and touch it. So you want to see it and look at it and taste it and touch it and hear it. You want to give it your undivided attention. And we say, if you give your problem your undivided attention, you hold yourself apart from being a cooperative component to the solution. You say, but I can't see the solution, and let me tell you about the problem. I've had it for a long time. I've never liked it. It bothers me in this way, and this way, and this way, and this way. Others have it too. We have a meetup group online. And we say, if you keep keeping the problem active in your vibration, you see, that wasn't your plan. You planned to come as part of your consciousness into this physical body, explore, identify what you prefer, and as soon as you identify it, to give your undivided attention to that new preference. And when you do that, when life shows you what you want, and then you talk about what it is you want and why you want it, and you think about all the reasons that you would love to experience that, then you train yourself into vibrational compliance with the solution, and then law of attraction must bring it to you. It is law.